Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a quick look at Fantom, and just before we do, we're going to peek over at Bitcoin, kind of see what's going on, because it's pretty standard behavior for Bitcoin right now. We got the nice leg up from yesterday and the leg up from 3 days ago as well. So we've had like basically two solid 6 to 7% increases. And ultimately today, we're seeing that nice little consolidation phase. So we're looking pretty good here for Bitcoin in that sense. I get the question, is the bottom going to drop out? I think it's less likely right now. We might want to be on our toes Sunday and Monday just based on the fact that that's when the whales kind of get back in business. They might take some profits, but I feel like the bottom is in, and we shouldn't expect the price to come any lower than the next most recent high. In other words, we should expect the price to kind of bounce off of right around 48, 49,000, right around 49, as potentially one of the lowest next points. At least that's what we need to see in order for the higher highs and the higher lows to continue. All right. So all in all, that should be what we're expecting in the near future. But Bitcoin's doing well. We are up over the simple moving average of the 200, and we're going to trend closer towards the 50 over the next coming days. So we'll see what happens here soon. But I like where we're at here presently for Bitcoin. And just before we jump into Fantom too, I want you to know I'm not a financial advisor. I just love teaching people how to trade. This is my favorite thing in my life, of course, is, well, trading and teaching. So it kind of mixes it both together. And I have a trading community as well designed for that purpose. Been trading for over 15 years. My goal is to help you become a better trader. And I'm always going to shoot you straight and make sure you get the right information. Rarely biased on anything. I just like to treat things neutrally because a good trader will, omit emotion, if that makes any sense. So taking a look here at Fantom. Something to note, we've had 4 strong green days here so far, right? And that's significant compared to Bitcoin, of course. I know Bitcoin's increased, but it's been consolidating quite nicely in between. Based on what I see here so far, this is shaping up to be kind of a 3 white soldiers type of scenario. So we could expect a correction in the next 24 to 48 hours. Just throwing it out there, it's a candlestick pattern that kind of helps you identify that, there's a traditional retracement that occurs after increasing for so long, right? So just bear that in mind. Again, there's no guarantees because crypto has a tendency of defying the laws of trading, but that is essentially a possibility. Looking at the moving averages, we're up over the 50 for right now. Granted, this one-day candlestick has not closed yet. We have about, 7 hours left in this trading cycle. So all in all, we're in a position where we're not in bad shape. We just need to make sure that we continue to progress upwards, right? Or at least close above that moving average. That would be very, very helpful if we do that. So all in all, not bad shape, but you can kind of see as well the Fibonacci retracement level of 210 is kind of working as a potential resistance right now. So we'll see here soon how that works. And what's interesting, and we'll see on the smaller time frames too, you can see that we had a rejection as well at 192, the previous Fibonacci retracement level. The price came up there, rejected, and effectively broke through here today. So looking really good. We are under 70, of course, which is nice on the RSI. I prefer the RSI on the one-day chart to be closer to 70, so we're trending right around there. So we're in good shape. It could imply that we're going to have a nice continuation, break up over 70, have that work as a support level. So, Fantom is doing fantastic here overall, and I love the recovery and how well it's doing. We had a MACD convergence on the 17th, and it hasn't showed any signs of slowing since. So all good stuff there for Fantom on the macro, right? Big term. Now let's look at the midterm, and this is where I'm growing a little bit concerned here. Again, this is just me being more conservative, right? There's nothing wrong with a continuation or a potentially parabolic move, but there's also problems that occur from it where the retracement could happen soon. In other words, with this type of increase here being so consistent for 48, 72 hours, we can expect the price probably come back down soon, right? And the main reason why is because obviously there's been very little consolidation. I see a small consolidation period here and maybe a little bit here, but it's not long enough to get a reset from TD sequential. So if you look at this here, we technically should have got a reset here because it was close, but the 4th previous candlestick was technically lower. Therefore, it continued to count up essentially past 9 and overtime. So we're at this point where we're literally 24 to 48 hours into an exhaustive state. Okay, so just be mindful of that. This isn't like a foolproof scenario, but TD sequential does very good about letting you know if you're overexhausted and you should expect a turnaround. So hypothetically, if we have a retracement, it could come all the way back down to about 167. I think that's less likely based on its momentum, the market sentiment and everything there. Don't get me wrong, but it's still a factor, right? So just note that we are absolutely on the overextended side right now on the midterm, and that's not amazing, but we are above both moving averages, and we have this golden cross potential here as well, where the 50 is going to intersect with a 200 in upward fashion. Those are all good things, right? So this has a lot of complementing factors, just letting you know that we're well overextended there. Furthermore, as well, on the 4-hour, we're at about 88 for RSI. That's a concern. Anything over 80 in most cases on the RSI has a tendency of becoming over exaggerated and retracing quite heavily once it finishes that cycle. So if you've seen my RSI video, the key takeaway here is that you want to wait for the RSI to come back down before you consider trimming your position or selling your position. Just also note too that RSI on 70, or 70 on the RSI rather, has a tendency of working as a support level as well. So we could see the price taper off and kind of work as a consolidation, maybe down to 192, or perhaps comes up a little higher, gets rejected by 230, and kind of hangs out around 210. Okay, we're still a little early to tell, but I can tell you that this should have slowed down and stopped by now, but it keeps going. And once again, we have those 3 white soldiers on the 1-day candlestick as a potential reversal pattern. I think it's inevitable for Fantom to correct itself soon. So just try to be mindful of that. If it continues much further, just know that we're going to see a stronger correction, okay? So that's why I don't love parabolic increases, because they have a tendency of coming back down harder than they should. So just be mindful of that. All right, so taking a look here, we're probably going to be free and clear of any price action on TD sequential, or sorry, I misspoke. Ichimoku cloud. So the Ichimoku cloud is basically telling us we're free of any price action, conversion lines above the baseline, and we're well above the cloud. So this is like a perfect scenario for Ichimoku cloud. It's not telling us to sell just yet, right? So again, it's a conservative indicator. What's going to happen is if the price just say ends up coming down, just say it consolidates and retraces right here, once it hits this point, then this conversion line would essentially hit that, and we'd have a sell signal, okay? Another thing could occur where the price goes sideways for a little while, and the lagging span, or sorry, the baseline catches up with the conversion line. That would be a consideration to sell as well. And when I say sell, I'm not talking about to sell your entire position, right? If you're holding on for dear life, so to speak, or this is the coin that you're going to be investing in for a while, don't even bother. Dollar cost average, add to your position, it's fine. Again, the likelihood of it coming down is high, but how low will it go? It may not go super low, because this has been a fairly continuous little pattern. Because if you look at this here, this isn't, even on the 4-hour chart, we didn't really get any consolidation much. You can see there's been decent consolidation phases here, right? So this is not a terrible scenario at all. It is definitely giving us a staircase type of pattern. It's just a little sharper than I'd like to, normally traditionally, I don't like to invest in coins that are this fast, if you will. But it's also nice and slow, if that makes any sense as well. So it's got some good corrections. Just, I think it needs to be significantly corrected, and it will probably happen soon. So just to kind of speak to that, if it were to come back down, we could see 191 as a pretty strong support level. In fact, let's quickly identify this here and see. That was a pretty, the price got stopped out there a couple times previously, so that was a good support level previously. And then if we look back even further, there's quite a few candlesticks. So I'd say 192 would be the lowest point. So I'll just go ahead and set my alert for 194. And we'll see if the price comes back down, and then that might be a good consideration to add to our position, or to consider a longer position to the upside. But again, not to say the price won't continue higher. It very well could. Awesome. We see it happen quite a lot. It's very oftentimes we see coins continue past the points at which they should. Just know that in crypto, things get over exaggerated. There's kind of this hype thing going on, and it could very well taper off and come back down as well. So just recommend you be safe and, rather than sorry, if you will. So take some profits if you get a chance. Maybe don't close your entire position, of course, not what I'm recommending, but just be safe there in that sense. And then also note too, I think it's pretty likely to see $2.70 in the next week or two. We could very well again see it in the next couple of days, but if we do, that's a problem, remember? It's going to come down hard if it does. So just try to be mindful of that. If you do see a price point of 270, that would be an absolute identification of selling your position, right? At least if it happens in the next couple of days. Because we've got a lot of patterns here that are kind of telling us that we're extremely overextended, and we shouldn't expect the price to continue to progress much further, okay? Once again, totally could be wrong on this, but I'm more of a safer than sorry. Because if you look at this, think about this, right? Say you got in somewhere near closer to the dip. You're up 42%, right? In traditional trading, 42% is, you take 2, 3, 4 years to get a 42% return, okay? Cryptocurrency is a little bit different of a story. Try not to get desensitized and think that 40% is not a good increase. You don't have to 5, 10, 20x every single coin, okay? Try to understand that. There's smart ways to go and there's greedy ways to go, and I prefer the smart route. It's kept me profitable year after year, and that's what I teach in my community as well. So if you're a community member watching this, I hope you exercise caution. But on the same accord, if this is a coin that you want to invest in long term, all good. Let it ride. Okay. I hope it works out well for you. And thank you so much for joining me here today. I look forward to seeing the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.